What's going on, everybody? LK here, and today a little bit more Guilty Gear before we hop back into Melty Blood. We had a patch, of course. It's been exactly a week today, and I've been playing a lot, like a lot. I want to talk about what I think is the absolute biggest change in this version of the game, and to me, it's about the air game. And the biggest change out of the couple of changes they made to jump attacks in the air game in general is definitely what they did to counter hits. So now in this version of the game, a lot more air attacks in this version of the game are now medium counter hit instead of weak counter hit. So as a review, in this game there are three. I went like this. But there are three type of counter hits, right? So there are the weak counter hit, which the game just lets you know there's a counter hit. This is, if you stagger somebody with, let's say like 5k or something, and then you hit them, they will know the reason why they got hit is because they got counter hit, but there's no actual extra frame advantage or anything special that you get off this type of counter hit. Then we have the medium counter hit. This is a little baby slowdown, right? So you still get the counter hit message in the top corner, and there's a pinch of slowdown, and you get extra frames to work with because your opponent is in this special slowdown state. And then there's the Bumbleclut Don DeMarco counter hit, where you hit this giant zoom in, mad extra frames, giant counter hit message, what everyone memed about when the game came out. Now the thing is about these counter hit levels is that they're assigned by move. So I actually incorrectly guessed when the game came out that this was based on attack level. This game has a system where attacks are leveled through 0 for 4. And this is how they assign hit stun and block stun to the various moves. You can use this to figure out a bunch of stuff. And I thought this made sense, right? Because, for example, this is an attack level 4 move, and it has got the Bumbleclut counter hit. And this is also an attack level 4 move, and it also has that massive counter hit. This is attack level 3 move, it's got the medium counter hit. But the thing is, Milia's old jump heavy, this used to actually be a weak counter hit. I use this as my reasoning of like why people could mash in between JH, air dash JH, for example. I was like, oh, well, this move just must not have a lot of block stun or hit stun. So I was pretty surprised to actually find out later that it had more hit stun and block stun than I thought, despite it being a weak counter hit. So in the previous version of the game, you had to carefully pick your move for what you wanted to punish with in certain situations. So for example, if you wanted to, let's say, punish someone's throw, in the previous version of the game, you would not use jump heavy here, or jump kick, or even jump punch. These are all weak counter hits. You're not going to get anything special here. You would use jump S, because this move is a medium counter hit. Just like that. And here you get to go into your good situation. But now in this game, her jump heavy is also a medium counter hit. And a lot of other characters have really good moves that are medium counter hit. So for example, we have Axel. I think Axel benefits from this a lot as well, because now his jump S is medium counter hit. So they nerfed this move in order to compensate for it having medium counter hit now. So apparently the hurt box is much bigger than it used to be. But in the previous version, one thing you could think about against Axel is that even though this move is a really strong move, it covers space really well, it prevents you from running in, he gets to reposition on his own terms. If you got hit, he wouldn't really get anything. So in a normal situation, he would basically just get that, maybe. But now, with the extra counter hit, you have a lot more options, and you can probably push this combo quite a bit since you have extra frame advantage. In GG, sometimes a really important strategy to consider is, even if something seems really hard and powerful, right, and like hard to get around, what happens when they actually hit you in most situations? Does it actually lead into something? Can they actually follow it up or not? So the reason why this matters for the counter hit is a bunch of these moves where you might not have felt the impact of getting hit by them before, now you will, because your opponent's going to get a medium counter hit and they can follow up that situation into a more powerful situation. Milia's jump heavy is also like this. So in the previous version, even on counter hit, when you'd get a counter hit with this move, you wouldn't really be able to follow up very easily, especially like the way you would time it. So for the most part, you might have to do something like this, where you might not be able to cross them up and get a good mix up. So she could mix you up from here. She gets a high-low at this positioning, but the high-low doesn't lead into damage basically ever unless she has meter. what she gets is an opportunity to do another mix-up, a left to right, that actually leads into damage. But again, since this is now a medium counter hit, you have plenty of time to dash up and do close/2D into a serious mix-up. So getting hit by her jump heavy means a lot more. For one final example, let's take Leo player's favorite move right here. Actually, I might be lying, by the way. It might be this, but for the sake of the example, let's use this. So if you haven't practiced against this move, I highly recommend you do. This is a pretty good move. This is a move that, comparing it from Exler to this game, the old weakness of this move was that you could IB it and just punish it. But in this game, especially in the previous version where some characters didn't have 5-frame moves, Leo could really abuse this move. As a sweep, it also has a heavy counter on it, so you can get a pretty big return, and it's relatively safe, and you're crouching, so in the case they block it and they don't play a character that can punish it, you can gamble DP, you can try to take your turn again. It's a pretty strong move. So how do you deal with this move? The general way would be to try to intercept with something that doesn't hit on the ground, because he hops over it. Just like that. But here you have to be kind of preemptive. He's got some big buttons, you know, on trade. He has more life than you, so you don't want to trade with him a lot. You can try to 6P as well. This is perfectly fine countermeasure. But also, because he's doing a ground poke, and one of Leo's weaknesses is a lot of his ground pokes have long total recovery. I know, of course, people are like, oh, LOL 5K, you can mash this. I know, it's a good move, it's fine. But a bunch of his moves do have long total duration. We can't just meme characters for being too good. We gotta address their strengths and their weaknesses fairly, right? So if you can get over these moves, it will help out a lot, especially if you time it right and read them the right way. So in the previous patch, I'm going to try to use jump kick as a replacement for jump heavy, but if you hit him, it's really, really hard to confirm this. So the interesting thing here too is that of all the moves I could try in this patch, jump kick, if I do get it, I might be able, and big emphasis on might be able to get a combo because of how it hits. But you have to remember that jump heavy hits them away from you. So if I'm using jump heavy in that same situation in the previous patch, he's going flying, I don't really get anything. And remember that if he hits me, he gets a heavy counter hit. So the risk return is pretty in his favor. But now the risk return is more even because you get the slowdown. So you get the slowdown and he's airborne. So you get all types of combo selections. You can choose to spend meter, you can knock down with hair car, you can do an air combo. There's a lot you can do with that hit now compared to before. So the risk return is more even than it used to be. So amongst the various system changes, because they did make a bunch of big ones, like changing faultless defense, giving everyone more air gatlings and cancel options off their air moves, I think this one is the most important for basically all characters. And in the case of some characters where like you might think, hey, they nerfed this character a little bit, like Axel for example, or hey, they didn't give my character as much stuff as other characters, you might want to explore situations with this system change in matchups to see how it affects your game. Alright, let me know what you guys think. As usual, if you guys have any questions or comments, definitely feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Like and subscribe if you guys feel like it, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace out.